Okay, let's go to the story. Okay, we'll take you into the story of an icon. He's been known for playing as Alejandro Sosa in Scarface and playing as Paula Rocca in Raw Deal. This here is the untold story of actor Albert Paul Shenar. Albert Paul Shenar was an American actor and theater director, best known for his portrayals as the general character in The Secret of NIMH. It was from Don Bluth, who was a American filmmaker, animator, video game designer, and author, who used to work for the likes of Walt Disney Productions before he started creating his own film studio in the 80s. And a character that he had portrayed in Scarface happened to be Alejandro Sosa, who had to be a fictional character that was in the movie. But his voice was already been put. I think he already played the character in a video game that was from almost 20 years ago. It was called Scarface. The world is yours. A veteran Broadway and Shakespearean actor, he was one of the 27 founding members of the American Conservatory Theater. Let me tell you about this here. About the story of Albert Paul Shenar. His early life here, that he was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he is the second of four boys. His older brother, he has this one older brother. His name was John, and then two younger brothers that are their names of Michael and Mark. Born from Mary Rosella, that's his mother, uh, and Eugene Joseph Shenar. He was of Polish and Slovene descent. His career had probably started in the game there. But Paul Shenar, let me tell you about Paul Shenar. He became involved in theater at an early age, working in a Milwaukee Playhouse Productions. After graduating from high school, he enlisted in the United States Air Force. Following his military career, he began acting again. Shenar gained attention playing larger than life entertainment legends in the late 1970s, television films like Orson Welles in The Night That Panicked America and Lorenz Ziegfeld Jr. or Ziegfeld, that's what his name. Florenz Ziegfeld Jr. That's his name. Was it Florenz Ziegfeld Jr.? That's the guy's name is. Oh yeah, he's a Broadway impresario. And Ziegfeld, the man and his women. He portrayed the character John Carrington in the part two of the miniseries Roots. I seen that picture. A founding member, actor, director, and a teacher of the American Conservatory Theater, the ACT. In in the city of San Francisco. He played more than 40 roles there, including Hamlet, Oedipus, Oedipus Rex, and Brother Julian in Tiny Alice in 1982. He portrayed the fictional character that he portrayed as Jenner. He was the main antagonist of Don Bluth's The Secret of NIMH. His performance in the film impressed Bluth so much that he wanted Shenar to also portray Space Ace's main antagonist, Commander Worf, but he was unable to do so due to the budget issues, and the role ultimately went to Bluth himself. Yeah, in 1983, he played the character. He portrayed the Andre. I forgot. Let me tell you about Paul Shenar, Albert Paul Shenar. It goes takes you back to 1983. You know what I'm saying? Almost 42 years. Uh, almost 43 years. Uh, he also portrayed the Alejandro Sosa character in the Brian De Palma film Scarface, and later portrayed as another character, Polo Rocca, in this movie here, Raw Deal, a 1986 action film that was directed by John Urban and written by Gary DeBoer and Norman Wexler. It is from a story by Luciano Vincenzoni and Sergio Donati. Shenar continued to act during the late 1980s that he did a stage version of Macbeth in Los Angeles and appeared in films like the bestseller movie 1987, same as The Bedroom Window, The Big Blue in 1988, plus the TV film called Rage of Angels. The story continues. His personal life completely been revealed anyway. They've been saying this like there's some stuff going on about him being gay and everything, but I don't know if he has a secret life or personal life that he had, a secret life that he had. I don't know if he was heterosexual or he was homosexual. We tell you about Paul Shenar. He was gay and he was like romantically involved with a British actor, a British actor who goes by the name of the legendary Peter Jeremy William Huggins, who was known professionally as Jeremy Brett. During the 1970s, they were in the relationship that reportedly lasted from 1973 to 1978. After the couple separated, they remained close friends until Shenar's death in 1989. Let me take you to Let me take you to the tragic parts. The death. The death. In 1983, it was prior to him. It's prior to him doing the Scarface movie. It's prior to him doing the Scarface movie as Alejandro Sosa. Shenar was diagnosed with the HIV/AIDS virus. Tragically, he died from AIDS on October 11th, 1989, at the age of 53. And meanwhile, his remains were cremated and given to his executor, Thomas Wiley. Thomas Wiley, who had to be his executor. This is his work from the 1970s to the 1980s. He was in Lulu. That was never been mentioned. I know it was Lulu. Let me see. Let me see if they mentioned that he was in Lulu. They never mentioned anything about him being in Lulu. He was in Lulu. They never mentioned that in the story. End of August, that was never mentioned. End of August, that was never mentioned in the story. The Secret of NIMH. God, it was mentioned. Deadly Force. He was already in it in 1983, the same year as the movie Scarface. You know what I'm saying? In 1986, he was in Dream Lover and Raw Deal. In 1987, he was in those movies like the bedroom window, the Man on Fire movie, and the bestseller. The one final movie, the last movie that he had done in 1988 is called The Big Blue. His television uh, stuff that he did in the 70s. In 1973, he was playing one of those characters like in the ABC Afternoon Play Break. He had the ABC Afternoon Play Break. He played a character, Sergeant Young. I think they showed me a picture of him in Peter Falk. In it was in a Columbo TV series. Uh, he played a Sergeant Young character. He plays the character of Sergeant Young, but he played Lieutenant Maroney in the ABC Afternoon Play Break before that. But the Blair character, he played the character in Owen Marshall, Counselor at Law, that was mentioned. He in Mannix he played as Johnny Sands, along with the character he played as Degish Degish in Great Performances, along with the character Crawford in The Execution of Private Slovak. By 1975, he played the characters like Arthur Harris, Archie LaSalle, Lexi Zartab, Wendell Warren, who was an announcer, and Orson Welles in Kojak, Petrocelli, The Invisible Man, Ellery Queen, and The Night That Panicked America. From 1976 to 1977, he played as Chadwick and I think at least Todd Daniels, I think. But in 1976, he was in the Keegans. He was in the Keegans as Rudy Portinari. The Gemini Man, he played as Charles Edward Royce. The Bionic Woman, he played as Dr. Alan Corey. Oh, and Wonder Woman. Oh, he played as Lieutenant Wirtz. I think I remember seeing that episode somehow. It was on I think it was on Me. It was on Me TV. I think in Roots he played as the John Carrington character. It was mentioned. Hostage Heart. He played as James Cardone, and he played Hammond. He played as Hammond on the Young Daniel Bone. Young Daniel Bone. It says Young Dan L. Bone. It's short for Young Daniel Bone. That's what the name came from. David Eakins in Logan's Run. The Mask of Alexander Cross. He played as the Alexander Cross character. Ziegfeld, the man and his women. That's mentioned. He played as the Florenz Ziegfeld character. The Florenz Ziegfeld character. Nick Silcox in the Courage and the Passion. Suddenly Love. He played as Jack Graham. Bob Gantry and Family. Michael Shillingford in Heart to Heart. Rose Coley in Beulah Land. He played as Jason Justin Daner in Dynasty. Scarecrow Mrs. King is James Delano. Paper Dolls as Jonathan Westfield. Brass in he played as Skylar Ross. Matthew Lowington in Spencer for Hire. Streets of Justice as J. Elliott Sloan. He played the narrator in the best of the Football Follies. Dark Mansions is Philip Drake. See, it's from the 70s all the way to the 80s here. Dark Mansions, he played as Philip Drake. The Rage of Angels, the story continues as Jerry Wood. The Timeout for Dad as Chase. All this stuff came from 1973, 1974, 1975, 1976, 1977, 1978, 1979, 1980, 1983, 1984, 1985, 1986, and 1987. Okay, they have all this stuff that came from the references. There's references that have Scarface counting money, X after inventing Y. They have the biography of Paul Shenar in it. All the stuff that didn't mention it, all references. It's all references. But R.I.P. man. I was like 7 years old. I was 7 years old when Paul Shenar died. The guy's a OG. He's been in the game ever since doing since he started doing Broadway and Shakespeare stuff. He did the Broadway stuff, the Shakespeare stuff before he got into the movie stuff. He was working on doing that, but he probably could have hung in there. He probably could have hung in there with Robert Reed if he had to. But rest in peace, Albert Paul Shenar. Let me see how I have to get this dedication in. Let's do in memory of. Yeah, I gotta do some work on it. I gotta memorialize him somehow. God, man, it's all gonna suck anyway. What's one stupid thing here? Yep, we're doing just that for now. I'm going to go dedicate this live show, to one of the actors who have been known as the Alejandro Sosa and the Polo Rocca characters. His name is Albert Paul Shenar. Born on February the 12th, 1936, and died on October the 11th, 1989. Rest in peace, rest in peace, Albert Paul Shenar.